Guys, it's Saneth here, the traveling mom boss. So as you guys know, I travel on a budget with my family. I'm currently in Pula, Croatia, and I wanted to share with you guys some tips on essentials you need in an Airbnb when you're traveling internationally with your family. So these things are very important to me, and I feel like you definitely should have these in place, or at least most of them when you're traveling with your family. So I have about 14 items that I thought about, or 14 things that I thought about that I feel can help you out when you're looking for an Airbnb. And these things I feel will help you and your family have a better time enjoying your Airbnb and also not really missing certain things that you would have at home. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys that I always make sure I have at any Airbnb I go to is Wi-Fi. So the reason why I always want to have Wi-Fi is because I always need access to good internet, and also my kids need access to it. So my kids, they both have phones, they have their tablets or their computer, and they're always trying to do research, watch videos on YouTube, Netflix, whatever it may be. And I know that with access to Wi-Fi, they can be able to do things that they would normally do at home and not be complaining to me about not being able to do their things that they would normally do at home. I also need good Wi-Fi because I needed to be able to make my videos, upload my videos. Sometimes the internet that you may have currently, the internet plan may not work well. So you need access to Wi-Fi, and I always make sure that the Airbnb that I'm going to has Wi-Fi. I also make sure that there's no extra fees for having the Wi-Fi. You may not think that happens, but there is some Airbnb that charges for certain types of usage when it comes to internet, when it comes to gas, electric, and things like that. That's just a side note. Make sure you read the fine print because some Airbnb has additional charges when you stay at their place for a certain period of time. I believe it's anytime after 7 or 8 days, so you want to check into that. And before I move forward, I want to say, please, I'm sorry about the buzzing in the background. I'm outside right now on the balcony making this video because my kids are inside. We just came out from having a wonderful time outside, and I just want to get my videos in and share with you guys all this knowledge I have, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So the second thing that I always look for when I'm traveling internationally and anywhere I go is a washing machine. The reason why I need a washing machine is because that's a way to save money. When you're traveling around with kids who change multiple times a day for no reason at all, or even if you're in a country that may be really hot, like right now we're in Croatia and it's pretty hot. The temperature goes to about a minimum of 85 degrees every day. And although the temperature changes in America, it feels totally different than from over here. So I need to have access to a washing machine so that I can wash my clothes often, because as a budget traveler, you want to make sure you're not carrying too much clothing, because then you'll have to pay additional fees for the baggage when you're checking it in. So that goes right into my next essential, and that's an AC. So you definitely want to have an AC or even some type of heating system depending on where you are. So the reason why you need AC is because, like I said, I'm in a country right now, it's totally hot, and we need to have AC that's burning all day long. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure you read the fine print because they may want to charge for that. Most Airbnbs don't, but I did see a few of them. I don't know if it's because of where I'm at, but I did see a few Airbnbs that charges a particular fee for anytime after 7 or 8 days. So if you're gonna if that's an essential for you, like it is to me, you want to make sure you look into the fine print when it comes to that. Or you can even ask the host if there's any additional charges for the AC. And just like AC, you need heat if you're in a place that's cold. I remember about 2 years ago when I was in Italy, the season was changing over. I think we went there in about April, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the host told us that because of the change of the season, they're not allowed to turn on the heat because the heat was for the winter, but it was changing over to the summer. But it was really cold in there, and I didn't know it was that cold. It would still be that cold when we were traveling. So we basically did not have access to heat in that place for the entire week that we were at that hotel. it was really warm outside, but in the house, in the apartment, it was really cold at night. So we had to layer up, and we did not dress accordingly or bring clothes accordingly for being inside and being in a cold apartment. So that's something you want to make sure you have in place when you are traveling. So the next item that I like to have, it may not be an essential for you, but it is to me, and it's a dishwasher. So I'm traveling with my kids and my sister, and we're trying to do a lot of activities without having to do a lot of work in the Airbnb when we come back, because this is like our home while we're traveling. So the thing that we usually look for is a dishwasher, because we want to just put those dishes in there and make sure they're washed while we do other things. And sometimes the dishwasher can actually clean it better because of the heat, so it can kill any type of germs or any additional things we may not see when we're washing the dishes. I mean, I know some people might say they feel better washing the dishes by hand, but I feel like a dishwasher can wash it just as well, because I've used dishwashers in many different places and it's just as clean, and that's something I look for. So if that's something you are interested in, definitely make sure you check that box on the Airbnb search prior to doing your search. The next item that I usually always need in any Airbnb I go to is a stove. So that's very important to me, and it may seem that every Airbnb has a stove, and guess what? They don't. I actually saw a really great Airbnb that was so cheap, and then I realized it was because it didn't have a stove. So Airbnbs is basically to feel like you're a home away from home, and when you have a stove, you have the ability to cook. And as a budget traveler, sometimes you want to cook at home. Sometimes, I mean, you don't always want to eat out, because you want to enjoy the city that you're in without constantly eating out. It does feel good to eat out, but after a while of being in the same city for a long time, it's kind of gonna feel like you're eating the same thing over and over. And really, we're traveling just to see the area as well. So I mean, that's how I look at it. So I try to cook at home, and then also having the ability to cook at home can allow your kids to have familiar foods. So having a stove is very important to me. The next item is having a fridge, because kids like to have certain snacks, milk, juice, water, soda, whatever it is. Even the meats that you want to cook with, you need a fridge to store those items. And then that goes into my next essential, and it's a microwave. So some people may not need a microwave. I need a microwave. I need a microwave because my kids like to have popcorn. And then also sometimes when I do cook at the Airbnb, I like to I like to cook a large meal so that I can be able to eat the next day if we want to eat in. So we have that available, or if we might want to get some food later on in the day because we really enjoyed it. We want to have a microwave to heat it up. And you have to read the fine print, because not every Airbnb has a microwave. I've stayed at two different Airbnbs, and I did not realize it didn't have a microwave until I got there, and I was just so upset, because I'm like, how am I gonna do some popcorn? How am I gonna heat up this food? How am I gonna do whatever? So it's something that's I wouldn't say it's required, because you can kind of use a stove, but for me, I usually make sure there's a microwave because I could do that. So if that's something that you are looking for, especially if you have younger kids, definitely want to have a microwave when you're booking your Airbnb. Another essential that I usually look for when I'm booking an Airbnb is to make sure that things are close by. So I always try to scan the area of where the Airbnb is to see if there is restaurants close by, if there's transportation close by. If I'm not sure about it, because sometimes you don't really have the full location, I ask the host more information about the neighborhood so that I could decide if this is the right neighborhood for me. So most of the time, well, when I'm traveling internationally, I don't drive, so I always want to make sure that there's things close by that I can have easily access to. And one of the things is a supermarket. You want to make sure that you check to see if there's a supermarket close by. So if there's things that you might need, like let's say milk, water, rice, whatever, you want to make sure there's a supermarket close by to you. So another essential for me is to make sure that transportation is close by, whether it be a bus, which I don't really take the bus often, but if I need to, I want to make sure it's close by. I also want to make sure I have access to Uber or any type of taxi service close by, because some areas the taxi service does not come to it. So you want to make sure that you have access to a taxi service, whether it be Uber or something that's local to where you are. Another essential is, if you're driving, you want to make sure that there's parking where you are. Some countries has parking rules, so you want to make sure you're able to follow them. So I prefer, instead of having to figure out if I can park in an area, I prefer there to be some type of free street parking or a parking garage in the place where I'm at. Some more items are to make sure that you look at the Airbnb pictures closely to make sure you have enough space for your family, and then also make sure that there's enough beds. Make sure the rooms are exactly rooms, because sometimes they consider a living room a room, and then also they consider the bed in the living room area, it might be a regular couch or it might be a pull-out bed, and they would consider that a bedroom or a extra bed. So you want to make sure you check those things, because they do matter when you have kids, or when you have, well, let's say like teenage kids or even adults that you're staying with that might want to have some privacy. So make sure you're seeing that you're getting the space that you're seeing on the Airbnb, or you figure out what they mean when they're saying 1 or 2 bedrooms. Another, my final item is to make sure you take a look at the bathroom area. Make sure that the bathroom is tall enough and wide enough for yourself, because European bathrooms are a little bit smaller than American bathrooms. I noticed that some of them are a little bit narrower, shorter. Some of them are like bath, where you would have to sit down to take a bath, and some of the showers are very tiny, and I'm a bigger girl, so some of them might be, I mean, it definitely fits around me, but it's very tight. So you want to make sure that there's enough space in the bathroom for what you're looking for. So thank you guys for watching me. I hope you enjoyed the things that I told you today. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and please make sure you continue to follow my journey. I'll be traveling around Croatia for the next couple of weeks, and also throughout Europe with my family on a budget. So make sure you stay tuned for my upcoming videos.